It is Thursday, February 19th, and you're watching the Sick Podcast. Trust the process. Look, we know it's Thursday. We usually talk about, other topics and the draft and prospects and all that good stuff. We're going to talk Olympics. We have to. We have no choice after what happened yesterday. It was pretty remarkable, to say the least. But after that, we're going to get back into our normal routine, and we're going to have a rebuild discussion. Which teams are trending the right way, which aren't? How do they project? Which one will win the cup first? We're going to answer all of that.
Could it be the Habs?
What's that?
Could it be the Habs?
You'll just have to tune in to find out. And then we got a mailbag question waiting in the queue. It's going to be a great show, as always. And it all starts right here, right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Trust the process. The sickest NHL prospect podcast with Snake and Shayne.
With the 5th overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
It's gonna be sick.
That's right, producer Shayne here, joined as always by my co-host Simon the Snake Boisvert. Snake, how are we feeling today?
Fantastic. How about you?
Oh, I can finally breathe. My blood pressure has diminished. I am now at a healthy level. Yesterday was an incredible day. I think the entire country of Canada was standing up at the same exact moment. And probably cheering very, very loud at the same exact moment. I know my apartment building probably heard me screaming and jumping, but you know what? Like it was really that crazy. So look, we'll get the Olympics out of the way because we have to talk about it. I think our viewers would be very disappointed if we didn't. Snake, what we saw yesterday was one of the craziest hockey games, personally, I've ever seen. Quarterfinals for the Olympics. Canada, Czechia. Canada's down 3-2 with 3 minutes to go. And who else but Montreal Canadiens captain, Mr. Nick Suzuki, to break the tie. Actually, no, not break the tie. Make it a tie game. Mitch Marner then broke the tie in OT. But Snake, I'm an avid listener of Simon of Mathias et le Serpent, right? And so I heard a little thing you said about Suzuki there. Listen, we have to discuss it. You said that, you know what, 5-on-4, 6-on-5, right? When there's a man advantage, Nick Suzuki is elite, and that's undisputable. That is a fact. But you said 5-on-5, he's a bit erased. I think that's the term you used, like FSC, right?
Yeah.
That was 5-on-5, and he controlled that play, man.
I know. And what's kind of interesting is that there were fans calling for him being benched.
Oh, that's absurd.
For the quarterfinals. For the quarterfinals. So I think with that goal, I don't think he's going to be benched for the rest of the tournament. What impressed me about his play is that he got behind the net and he was checked. And the defenseman, I think, did or was very close to controlling the puck. Mm-hmm. And then they could have gotten out of the zone. But he came back. Like it was a second effort, basically. And then the tip, But it was basically a second effort, I find.
Yep.
Because he was checked. And they were I thought they were done like dinner at the time. Mm-hmm. Because you could tell that the Czech team was just going to clear the zone.
That's it.
And it would have been very hard for Canada to organize a 6-on-5. We don't know. Maybe they would have scored. But it would have been, I think, very hard to organize it. But did your blood pressure go up also when Nick Cash went on that breakaway?
I turned away. I stopped watching.
The thing is, the defenseman was very close to him. I think it was number 7. Defenseman was
It was
Rick
Devon
Toews.
Taves, yes.
Yeah, so he was not really able to maneuver, but still a good job by Binnington because it goes very fast. But getting back to Suzuki, I don't think he had a tournament where he was that visible, because that's what I always say about him. And what I said to my listeners in French this week, I said, I'm going to go to the Bell Center on the 26th to see Matthew Schaefer. First visit to the Bell Center. I can't miss that. And I'm going to be behind I'm going to be behind the net. So like for 2 periods, I will see Schaefer, the deployment, of the Islanders. I want to see Schaefer carry the puck. But I told my listeners, I said, okay, I'm taking a lot of heat because of my comments about Suzuki being not very visible. And most people will tell me, well, he does the little things so well. And what I told them, I said, okay, doing the little things so well, it's quite vague. Please tell me, what should I see?
Yeah.
What should I watch for that I don't see in a game? And because there are fans who agree with me, and that Suzuki is not that visible, but he's efficient. Okay, if he's efficient, if he's that efficient at 5-on-5, please tell me what I should look for. And I invite you to do it too, Shayne, because there's a lot of, like I say, there's a lot of blah blah. It's very vague saying, oh, he's efficient. Okay, you don't have to be spectacular to be efficient. Okay, tell me what he does. I called him le sorcier, the sorcerer.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like, what's his magic formula to be so loved by fans? And I know he's going to score 90, 100 points, but I'm talking about what I see on the ice. And when I mentioned some first-line centers in the NHL that are way more visible, then some fans tell me, oh, spectacular doesn't mean efficient. I do agree. But spectacular often means that you carry the puck all the time, which is not Suzuki's case at 5-on-5. He doesn't control the game.
No.
And that's why I never put him with the elite crowd at center. But if someone can convince me to watch for certain things in his game, well, fine. I'm open to suggestions.
I think this season as a whole, like, even though he's on pace for statistically the best career of his season, the best season of his career, I think he's left a few people on their appetite in the sense that you're talking about, Snake, that he's not really driving the play as we're used to seeing in previous seasons. But I think he's kind of elevated his IQ, if that makes sense, where he doesn't really need to control the play in order to make plays happen. He kind of just gets himself in those right positions, anticipates the play very well, knows where his line mates are going to be. Well, knows where Cole Caulfield's going to be. I think that's the appropriate response here. But, it's really just like, and it does boil down to the little things that he does that kind of accumulate to a bigger thing. And on that play is the perfect example, right? The end of the shift, he could have dumped it in and go change, but he stayed with it, won his battle, cycled the puck to Jarvis, and then placed himself in front of the net for a tip, right? It's those like little things that accumulate to one big thing, and it ended up being a massive, massive goal. But I think that's really what makes like Suzuki is an enigma. Okay, it's true. Like, he's not McDavid where he'll just take the puck one end, go the other, and score. Or
he's a sorcerer. That's why I called him the sorcerer.
He just appears, like he kind of goes incognito and appears at the right moment, and boom, it's in. Or boom, he makes the pass, it's in. Right? He's very hard to kind of boil down. But I kind of see the merit in saying that he does do the little things right that then accumulate to points.
However, yesterday, that play in my book was visible. Yeah. When I say he's not visible, I don't mean the play from yesterday. To me, that's being visible. You're being checked, coming back, tipping. That's visible. My problem is, like you mentioned at the beginning, he doesn't drive play like the top 8 or 10 centermen in the league. You look at a guy like Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is far from being the perfect player. I think he's not. I think he's still a small guy who's not that. Well, he gets injured. He's not that solid on his skates because he's small. But you look at a guy like and Suzuki, never missed a game, and I do understand all this. But when you look at Jack Hughes, he drives play. Every time he's on the ice, you see number 86 making play after play after play after play. So that's one example of a guy who's been like part of a debate. Do you want Jack Hughes or do you want Suzuki? Most fans in Montreal want Suzuki. I get it. But I'm just trying to understand why. Because Suzuki has become, like you say, it's kind of an enigma compared with the other top centers in the league. And that's why when I go to the Bell Center next week, I'm going to focus on Schaefer, but I'm also going to focus on Suzuki a lot because I need to understand the sorcerer's magic formula.
Yeah, because it works. Every single year he improves on his point totals. So yeah, he does. Obviously he's doing something right, and not only that, he's improving on it every single year. So we'll continue this discussion after you've watched that game. Yeah. So we get your thoughts live in person. Okay, you'll be able to focus in on him, and we're also going to talk about Matthew Schaefer because, I mean, could you imagine if he had been on Team Canada? Could you imagine that defense core?
I think they should have had him on the team.
Clearly, they're missing puck movers. They're missing, some sort of dynamic defense.
It's like they had Makar, and they're like, "We're fine. We have Makar. We're fine. Why not have two of them?"
He'll be on.
And we see with Celebrini that it doesn't matter if the guy is 19 years old. Okay, I hear it. Oh, he's only 18. Well, you know what? He's been playing in the NHL for like more than half a season now.
Yeah.
He hasn't hit the rookie wall like most of them do. And basically the Olympics, you're facing NHL either teammates or opponents. So what's the big deal? Why the idea of, we need these 28-year-old guys? Okay, yeah, you do. Of course you do. But why can't you have like a couple of youngsters? I would have even considered Bedard for the team. It's okay. You have 2 or 3 of them. The rest are veterans. It's fine. And you have like the older guys like Sidney Crosby. Look, I think overall it's a well-built team. I mean, I'm not complaining about Team Canada's roster, but I'm just saying like a guy like Schaefer would have added a dimension to that team. The way perhaps, I know they have Quinn Hughes, but Lane Hudson would have had a dimension. Okay, they don't want 2 small defensemen. He's gearing up for the game against Canada. He wants tough guys. The Kachuks are going to go nuts, probably. We know that. But they could have had. And at least one of the scorers, either Caulfield, Robertson, or DeBrincat, one of the 3 guys should have been. So I don't know. I'm probably nitpicking, but I think that some guys who were not at the Olympics would have deserved to be there.
Oh, it's always like that. I mean, if you assembled Canada's B team, it probably would have medaled. Like it could have been that good. So look, that Schaefer's going to be on the next Olympics. Bedard's going to be on the next Olympics, and so will Macklin Celebrini. Let's just spend a few moments on him to give the appreciation he's deserved. Okay, 9 points in 4 games. We've heard, he's 19. This is crazy. No, but like,
it doesn't matter.
It actually is crazy. He's second in the tournament in points.
Yeah, look, I remember in 2016 when they had the World Cup or whatever it was called. And you remember they have this team that was like Team Canada, but there was Team USA, but there was also Team North America, which was youngsters. 23 and under. And I always wonder, why didn't they take Connor McDavid for Team Canada? Why did they put him in the Team North America with youngsters?
Yeah.
And so had the Olympics been held in 2016 with the pros, probably McDavid would not have been chosen if you follow that reasoning. But in this case, they weren't afraid to put Celebrini. I think it would have been embarrassing not to put him because he's number 3 in scoring, number 4 in scoring in the NHL, and he has. I think he contributed to more than half of San Jose's goals.
Yeah,
which is amazing. I mean, you take Celebrini out of the equation, and the Sharks are still the worst team in the league. They are, and now they're battling for a playoff spot. I don't think they will make it, but just the fact that they're in the conversation in February is absolutely incredible. With a bric-a-brac team still. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have great young players. I love their rebuilds. We're going to talk about it in a few minutes, but it's still a bric-a-brac team with a bunch of one-year contracts to veterans, and hoping that youngsters, will take their place one day. Look, it's a rebuild, but Celebrini is really is speeding it up in a way, or perhaps creating some kind of mirage that the team is right there. Whereas the Habs last year, they made the playoffs with a young team, but it wasn't just one guy. So you could see that the Habs were not a mirage. Mm-hmm. You could see that they were an up-and-coming team, which is not complete yet, but getting there. So I think that's the difference, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's it. No, look, Celebrini is doing incredible things, and he looks comfortable. I think that's what I'm taking out of this so far through 4 games. He looks like he belongs, and I think he knows that he belongs.
Oh yeah.
In overtime, like he was the second, right? The second wave. He was on the second wave on the overtime, and guess what? He set up Mitch Marner for the win. So this player is he's baffling, absolutely incredible. Now, before we move on from the Olympics, okay, we're going to get to our rebuild discussion shortly. But Snake, I have to ask you, a little prediction for Canada-Finland. What are we expecting here?
Oh, I think they're going to win.
Okay.
I don't see. I think had the USA lost to Sweden,
came close.
I think the Canada-Sweden game would have been like the gold medal game. Mm. Now the gold medal game most likely will be Canada-US. But no, I don't see any issues with US and Canada. It would have been different had there been like Sweden and Russia.
Oh,
which is the dream Final Four of any hockey tournament. But now I don't think it's going to be that hard. But look, it's only one game. It's only one game. If it was a best of 7 series, I mean, I could bet 1,000 on it. One game, you never know. But I think it's going to be Canada-US, which was what everyone has been talking about for years and years and years and years since they were talking about the pros coming back to the NHL, the Olympics.
We've waited 12 years for this, Snake. 12 years. I was in high school the last time NHLers played in the Olympics, and I remember Carey Price. Wow. 2014, he was something else. But listen, credit to Jordan Binnington. He's been good. Look, we are recording this before Team Canada plays Team USA Women's for gold. So we don't know the result, okay? But, we're sending our good vibes over to the Canadian girls and Marie-Philippe Poulin, the greatest female hockey player of all time. I did not stutter when I said that. I meant it with every fiber of my being. She is the best. Now, moving along, we have a great topic recommendation to get to, and this one's coming from Jonathan. Now, he actually sent 2. So, Jonathan, we're going to keep the top one and put it in our back pocket, okay? Mm-hmm. We might circle back later, but we're going to get to the second one today. He's asking to review all of the rebuilds that took place in the last 5-ish years and project where we think they'll be in the near to medium-term future. So far, where they've succeeded, where they failed, and what else they need to accomplish. And then we rank them based on how well we think they've constructed to compete for cups during their window. This is a great topic, Snake. I'll let you start off.
Well, there's a couple of disclaimers, first of all. Ranking them is a little bit hard because 4 of the 5 teams are in the Western Conference. So, it's hard to tell who's going to come out of it. Whereas in the Eastern Conference, there's only one team in my book who's been through a rebuild and who's on the way, perhaps, to the Stanley Cup Finals. Another disclaimer is that obviously there are lotteries coming, draft lotteries. Of course, a team like Chicago, let's say, what if they win the lottery? Then it might speed up their process in the sense that, but however, there doesn't seem to be any Celebrini or McDavid available this year. Next year, I don't think so either. So I don't think there's going to be as much of a... These players will have the same impact as, let's say, Celebrini.
Mm-hmm.
Now, getting there. We're going to start with the Western Conference. Again, another thing I want to mention, I chose 5 teams. Some people say Buffalo was a rebuilding team. Columbus was a rebuilding team. Not really. Okay. They've been up and down forever, especially Buffalo's been down forever. So I chose 5 teams who pretty much officially rebuilt.
Yeah.
Let's start with Utah, which at the time was Arizona, the Coyotes. They destroyed that team. They took on lots of bad contracts or retired player contracts for many, many years just to reach the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Utah is battling for a playoff spot, and I think they're getting there. They're getting there, really. Now, will they ever get to the Stanley Cup Final? I think what they do have a lot of fine players, but maybe they lack some star power to get there. And if you look at teams, give or take a couple, like the Blues in 2019, the teams that win the Cup, they have superstars. And I don't see right now anyone in Utah that I can consider a present or future superstar. But they have a great collection of young players and some, I would say, veterans in their prime, like Clayton Keller. But, they have Dylan Genter, they have Sergachev, Logan Cooley, some upcoming Russian guys, Daniel Butt, Simashev, who was sent down to the AHL, but he's been great in the AHL. We were talking about young defensemen in the AHL recently. He's one of the best. So Utah, I think, are going to be a playoff team for years and years to come. I don't think they have the star power to necessarily win a cup. So that's one of them. The next one is Chicago. Chicago is still rebuilding. They're probably the least advanced team of them all because they're going to miss the playoffs again. And who knows how they have a good group of young defensemen. They might add another one this year. Could it be Albert Schmitz? Could it be Keaton Verhoff? Or are they going to add, a Stenberg on up front? How is Frondell going to do? Number 3 pick last year. I think it's really, really incomplete right now, what's happening in Chicago. I do think they have a good defense group of defensemen. They're fine in net with Spencer Knight.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They have a star in Connor Bedard. But the rest of the guys that they drafted, there's a lot of maybes. Think of Nick Lardis, John Mustard. I think they're good players, but will they be more than middle of the lineup players? Because right now, there's only one real top 6 player in Chicago. It's Connor Bedard. So what they lack right now is more top 6 players. Maybe Frondell will become one of them. I assume he will. Maybe the guy drafted this year. At some point, they might sign a free agent, although we know what it is. Free agency on July 1st. Very rarely will you add a top player who's going to be good for 5, 6, 7 years and work the contract you're going to give him. So it's very easy to say, oh, you can sign free agents. Well, who? Not many guys reach free agency. I mean, Mitch Marner sort of did last year. He was traded, but we all know he was going to free agency. John Tavares, maybe, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago, reached free agency in his prime. But it's quite rare that we're going to see this. So I think Chicago, they need top 6 guys Or they need the guys right now. Some of them need to turn into top six guys.
How do you feel about Frank Nazar?
I like Frank Nazar. I think he's an energy player. He's skilled, but he can be your second best young forward, I think, in order for you to win the cup. Could be a second line player, middle of the lineup, second line player. Let's call him a second line player. But if he plays center, it's two small centermen for Chicago, Nazar and Bedard. Not many teams have won the cup with two centermen under 6 feet. So, like I say, Chicago, nice defense, good goalie. Let's see about the top six. Next team, Anaheim. Anaheim is getting there really, really, really fast. They have the stars or the upcoming stars, the Carlsons, Gauthier, and Seneca, Beckett Seneca. So I think when it comes to star power, they do have it. The defense group is very, very good because you have a combination of puck movers, defensive defensemen, old guys, young guys, Minchukov, Zellweger, Lacombe, Jackson Lacombe. Okay, they have some older guys like Gudas who might become a free agent, but I think they have Tristan Luneau who could take his place. So I think in net, look, I went there during the holidays. I see 3 games and Dustil was horrible. and yesterday after the game, I saw some Habs fans saying, "Can't we get Dustil now?" Look, goalies. He's good. I think he's good overall, but goalies are hard to predict, and I don't see necessarily a guy who's going to reach the elite level night in night out. But do you really need this to win the cup? I think you win. You need a guy who's at least not going to make you lose games if you have a great team in front of him. Yeah. So Dustil maybe is not ideal as a Stanley Cup winning goalie, but it's not impossible. Now, what does Anaheim need? They have Roger McQueen in the fold. He's a 6'5" centerman. He's had a decent season in Providence. I would say he started off slowly because he missed most of last year. He's been good since, I would say, a month or so. The way Pat Verbeek built that team, he has a lot of grit on his team at forward. Like the Harkins, Russ Johnsons, guys like that. My only issue is that these guys are not very good offensively, and I think you do need a little bit of offense in your bottom 6. Yeah. So will McTavish perhaps become a third line player? I think that would be ideal. It would be like it would be a luxury. Yeah. Because I don't see McTavish as
he's a tweener, eh? He's like a 2.5. Yeah.
He's a 2.5. Exactly. I think he's a 2.5, but it would be a luxury. So I think they need to revamp that bottom 6. And yes, you need grit, but you need a little bit production from the gritty players. Now, the last team in the West, the Sharks. The Sharks, obviously, when you project to the future and you see that they have Macklin Celebrini, you have to put them, honestly, because our listener was asking for a ranking. I think you have to put the Sharks at number 1, if only because of Macklin Celebrini. Yeah. And I know Connor McDavid hasn't won the cup yet, but most generational players have. Crosby, McDavid, Crosby, Gretzky, Lemieux. They have won the cup. So I think,
if I may, the Sharks are trending in a much better way than the Oilers were in 2015, 16, 17. Like, exactly. They've got a supporting cast around Celebrini, whereas with McDavid, it was Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins essentially.
Exactly. Now they're still a very bad team, like I said, because right now on defense it's not set. Most of their guys are becoming free agents at the end of the year. The Liljegren, Nick Leddy, who's been sent out, John Klingberg. Dmitry Orlov will have 1 year left. I think Vincent Desharnais is becoming free agent. Look, the defense right now, it's really patched up. They're waiting for Sam Dickinson to become, a top 4 defenseman, which I think he will become. He's really improved this year. It was very, very bad at the beginning of the year. I was wondering if they're going to send him back to junior hockey, but they did not, which was the right decision. I think he's getting better and better. But they don't have that puck-moving guy. There's Luca Cagnoni in the American Hockey League. He's a nice little puck-moving guy, but I don't know if he will defend in the NHL for 82 games. So that's a big if. So I don't know where they're going to pick this year. I think they're going to miss the playoffs, but they could get number 8, number 9 pick. There's a lot of defensemen available. They need a puck mover, a real one. And they also have the Oilers pick, which could be a top 20 pick because the Oilers are going to make the playoffs, but not unless they reach the Final Four. It's going to be a top 20 pick because they don't have a lot of points. So I think the Sharks really need to focus on this. Now, at forward, I think they're pretty much set. You have Celebrini, you have Smith. Michael Misa has been very good since the World Junior Tournament, so you can see that he's going to be a fantastic number 2 center. I think Will Smith will stay on the wing.
Yep.
And now the question is, you have a guy like William Eklund, who I think is a tweener, but I think he could be a decent second-line player. But he's another 2.5, I would say. Now, what's going to happen with Chernyshov? Chernyshov, they brought him up. He was great with Celebrini for a few games. They sent it back down. I think they probably sent it back down to have him play games during the Olympics. So he went down to the Barracuda, but I think he's going to be a fixture on the top 6 because he's exactly what you're looking for. He's a tough, skilled guy.
Oh, yeah.
He can skate. He's a monster. I saw him live, and he really, really stands out physically in a world where, hockey players are big guys usually. And when I first saw him on the ice, I'm like, wow, Chernyshov is a monster. And he's also very skilled. Now, what's going to happen? What do they have waiting in the wings? They have Quentin Musty, who's been injured, but he's had an okay first season with the Barracuda. I think he'll have a chance to make the team next year. And we know Mike Greer. He's going to be like it's going to be like Anaheim. He's adding grit now to his third and fourth line. And you need guys like this. But what I like is that they have a guy like Colin Graff who can also score, which is what Anaheim doesn't. So if you have a bottom 6 guy with a guy like bottom 16 with a guy like Colin Graff, I think it's a pretty good start. They're going to bring in some more guys. They're probably those guys you can get, in free agency for short-term contracts, but you have to find the right ones. And it's a little bit of a lottery because a lot of these bottom 6 guys, they're rarely going to be efficient for 15 years. They're going to peak at some point. Then they might get the big contract. And then you might regret it because, they have reached their peak. It's hard. Not every player can be a Nick Paul. A Nick Paul who's been a great bottom 6 guy for years and years and years and years. But I don't know if you remember, after Chicago won a cup in the 2010s, they signed Brian Bickell.
Brian Bickell, yeah.
You remember him?
Brian Bickell, of course.
Yeah, Brian Bickell, yeah. And $4 million a year, which at the time was a fortune for a bottom 6 guy. And the guy basically bombed. I mean, he just had one good playoffs. And they signed him to this long-term contract. So you have to be careful with these guys. So hopefully San Jose doesn't do it. Also, they have to get defensemen. In net, Askarov, I think, is going to be a good one. He's not perfect. He's had some very bad games, but he's had games where he really saved their butt. So work in progress, but yeah. Now, Eastern Conference, I only see, there was only one team. It was the Habs. Now, the Habs is the most advanced of those 5 teams, that's for sure. And the advantage they have is that they're also in a conference where I think that a lot of teams are going to regress at some point. We saw it with Florida this year, but they had injuries. But we all know that Florida might rebound next year, but they're not going to be good for another 5 years.
No, that's it.
Tampa Bay, we don't know. They keep trading picks and picks and picks and picks. So how long are they going to maintain this? But Kucherov is still the key. Once Kucherov is gone, what's going to happen? So I think the Habs are in a very good position. I thought they were going to reach the cup finals by 2028.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be this year, but it could be next year or the year after.
Yeah.
Now, we all know what the Habs have. They have the puck-moving defenseman. They have a young upcoming goalie, which is not ready maybe yet, but almost ready, Jacob Fowler.
Mm-hmm.
And now they need more top six players. But I think those guys are up and coming, and they're not far from the NHL. Michael Hage, Alex Zorowski, I think within a couple of years, 27, 28, yeah, that's the season. I think they're both going to be in the lineup, and I see top six players. So if you have Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Michael Hage, Zorowski, and Demidov, then you have a great top six. Now, what do the Habs need? What they need, what Anaheim has. More grit, tougher players, I would say, relentless players.
Yeah,
a little bit more. Could Bolduc be one of them? We'll see. But obviously Gallagher is on his way out. Josh Anderson's on his way out. They're older players. I mean, Josh Anderson brings grit, but he's an older player. We're talking, it's trust the process. We talk about young players. Could it be Florian? We'll see. But I do think that at some point Kent Hughes will make a major move. And it could be painful because he might have to give away one of the players that fans like a lot, who could be like a little bit of a carbon copy of, you can't have like two guys who played the exact same way with the exact same role. You might have to give one guy up who's that they already have in order to plug in to plug in another hole. So who could it be? We don't know. Adam Engstrom has been mentioned, although Adam Engstrom is not a top player right now, but he's been mentioned as a prospect that they could live without, let's say. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because when you do a trade, you're always going to make yourself weaker at a position in order to fill another hole.
That's it.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And they're not going to trade Slav, obviously, because he's kind of a unicorn. They're not going to trade Demidov, that's for sure. They're not going to trade Suzuki. So who could it be? Could it be a Hage, a Zorowski? Caulfield is going to score 40 goals. He's still young. I think they're going to keep him. But it always depends on who they can get in return. Hage might be up for grabs. Zorowski might be up for grabs. Look, they're going to have to give something to get something. Because on defense, I think they need probably it's weird because they had him in the lineup, but a bencher up type of player. Maybe they need. Yeah. So, but I think the Habs right now, with what they have in-house, is going to be very good, and they'll just need the extra ingredients, the way Florida went to get Brad Marchand last year, stuff like that. I think this is what the Habs are going to need in a couple of years. This year, I think depending on who they face in the first round, I think most teams that they might face in the first round, I think they're going to beat. So I think they're going to win one round at least this year.
Wow.
And that would be progress compared with last year. So just to conclude, the order, because of Celebrini, I have to go with Sharks number 1. Number 2, I go with the Habs. Number 3, I go with Anaheim. Number 4, I go with Chicago because it's still a work in progress. And number 5, like I say, Utah, I think they are who they're going to be, which is a playoff team, but I don't see a Stanley Cup champion.
That's a solid depth, but still need that star power. Now, Snake, I got to ask, if you were to make a prediction, and I know predictions, you don't have to give me an exact number either, but which team do you think wins the cup first?
Oh, okay.
And which team wins the most cups of those guys with the core, of course?
Yeah, with what we know right now, because one thing that could be interesting for a future show is we could go back 10 years. Okay, 10 years is good. Most of our listeners remember 10 years ago, and most players are still playing in the NHL, the young guys. We can do a reverse exercise. And I could tell you who were the rebuilding teams in 2015, what I thought of them, and what happened to them. And I did the exercise in my head a few weeks ago, and I was shocked. I was shocked to see how things change in the NHL.
Yeah.
You know, who would have thought in 2015 that the Florida Panthers 10 years later would have 2 Stanley Cups? And they were kind of a rebuilding team at the time, sort of. You know, they had Barkov, Ekblad, but it took so many years. And at some point, most people had given up on Florida.
Yeah.
So, you know, Utah could be the 2 Cup winner in 10 years. You never know. But to answer, so I think that's a good exercise that we can do on another show, maybe next show or next week. Most cups, I think, will be the Sharks.
Yeah, I agree.
First one to win the cup of those 5 teams, if one of them wins the cup, because none of them could. I think it would be Montreal.
Logistically speaking, they're the closest, right?
Well, I always thought 2028
playoffs, but
I thought 2028 it was going to be a Sharks Habs finals. I said this last year. 2028 Sharks Sharks. That's hard to say. Sharks Habs. I think 2028 could be the Stanley Cup final.
Wow. The only thing with the Sharks that's kind of making me take a step back is not even just the Sharks, it's the Western Conference. Because right now, the Western Conference is so much weaker than the East that it's bound to rise up again. And it's going to rise up at the same time as the Sharks are rising up, whereas the East is going to come down as the Habs keep progressing. So I think that's something in their favor and not in the favor of the Sharks. But the roster that they're building is undeniably incredible. Like if the high picks hit, right, and so far they're hitting, and they keep rounding out the roster, the Sharks could build a dynasty. Like we're in that discussion now. Like they really
they could be like the Tampa Bay Lightning, or you know, won 2 cups, 3 finals in a row. Chicago Blackhawks of the 2010s. Of course they would. But what's kind of interesting is that in the Western Conference, there are more great, I would say, rebuilding teams, or more rebuilding teams on the rise than in the East. But the Eastern Conference is much stronger right now.
Right now, exactly, yeah.
Right now. But at some point, some of the older teams might regress. And there are teams who I think will stall. And they have a stall on their team. It's Pag. I work with you way too much. For those who don't know, Pag is a co-host of in Mathias et Serpent, and he likes to do these word
wizard.
He's a word wizard. It's the Carolina Hurricanes. I think the Carolina Hurricanes are probably what Utah is going to become.
That's fair.
A very good team, but maybe a Final Four appearance. But I don't see the cup. I don't see the cup going to Carolina eventually, although they have a very good team. And, you know, Islanders with Matthew Schaefer, I don't think they have a very strong roster. They have a couple of prospects now. I like Mathieu Dash. I trust him as a GM. I like Mathieu Dash. Maybe the Islanders could be, we could have like a Final Four at some point with the Habs, the Islanders, and the Sharks, and I don't know, Chicago. That would be a dream Final Four for hosts of Trust the Process.
Listen, we can come back to this in a few years, and hopefully we are right. But that would be something special.
I think Matthew Schaefer at some point could win a cup.
He's got that. He needs he needs Mathieu Dash's help. To build a roster around him, but like this player is
well, he's making everyone better at age 18.
He's going to be a captain.
It's unseen. It's unseen enough with an 18-year-old defenseman that the guy will make other players better. Mario Lemieux made other players better at center, but he was 19 years old, and still the Penguins had a terrible team. They missed the playoffs for 5 years before he got there. But Matthew Schaefer, they're going to make the playoffs probably.
It's ridiculous. Like when you think that, your franchise superstar, if you will, is your defenseman. That's very rare territory. Like we're in Bobby Orr, Raymond Bourque, Nick Lidstrom, Kel McCarr to a certain extent, even though he's had Nathan McKinnon. Like we're in that realm of discussion already with Matthew Schaefer. So Islanders fans, I mean, rejoice. You have the right to. He has come. He is here.
Luck of the lottery. Luck of the lottery.
Wow, what a draw. What a draw. Yeah.
Imagine the Habs. Imagine the Sharks with Schaefer.
I'd rather not. I'd rather not imagine that.
That would have been possible. They had the worst record. They had a 25% chance of getting Schaefer. See, Schaefer and Celebrini, that would have been better than McCarr McKinnon.
It's over. That's when the hockey gods stepped in and they're like, okay, look, the Sharks are trending the right way, okay?
Yeah.
But this is too much. We got to spread the wealth a little bit here. This is too much. It's just that would have been unreal. But anyways, I'd rather not think about it because, wow, what could have been.
I like to think about it.
Yeah, it's scary. It's genuinely scary. But look, he's on the Islanders, and the Sharks are going to get their defenseman at some point or another. I'm sure about that. They've got some good ones on the board this year. Snake, before we move along, I think it's a perfect opportunity for myself to talk about a few of our partners here at the Sick Podcast that make this show possible. And I want to start off with a big shout out to our friends at Cheapest T-Shirts. If you're looking for the cheapest prices on wholesale apparel in Canada, you will find them at cheapesttshirts.ca. They're proudly Canadian and trusted by thousands of customers from coast to coast. They deliver unbeatable value every day. You'll always get the cheapest prices, plus same-day shipping and even next-day delivery, so your order arrives fast. Whether you're shopping for T-shirts, hoodies, crew necks, hats, tote bags, polos, aprons, tank tops, and so much more, you'll find it all in one place. Plus, you can enjoy free shipping on larger orders and a simple, easy-to-use website that makes online ordering a breeze. Get the cheapest deals in Canada today at cheapesttshirts.ca. And as we've been saying throughout these Olympics and throughout the regular season of the NHL, if you want to put a few bucks on a team, maybe Canada, maybe Finland, maybe US, maybe Slovakia. I think the return for Slovakia could be pretty good. I haven't checked the odds yet, but you could do that on Betway. And if you do that on Betway, well, you can get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. Now, the offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer is not available in Ontario, and you must be 18 years or older. Please play responsibly. Okay, we have one question in the mailbag. Let's get to it. Our question today comes from Intrusive Thoughts Undefeated. Can we get an update on Hayden Papanikis?
Yeah, Hayden Papanikis was a draft pick of the Habs in 2025. He was a third-round pick. And I really liked the Habs draft last year. I really, really liked it, although they didn't have a first-round pick. Mm-hmm. I was very bullish on Zarovsky, as everyone knows. Bryce Pickford was a sleeper of mine. I like the gamble on LG Mooney. Mm-hmm. Goalie Alexis Cournoyer. I mean, I really love that draft. However, in the third round, to me, it would have been complete had they picked my sleeper, Cooper Simpson, picked by Boston. I think he's the number one scorer in the USHL this year. He's going to North Dakota next year. So that Papanikis pick, to me, was a little bit underwhelming. I understand why they did it. We're going to get into this now. But I think Simpson has a better chance of making the NHL. Here's what happens with Papanikis. He's a 6'5" forward. You want these guys on your team. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
you have to scout them. You have to pick them. I don't have a problem with that. However, with Papanekis, Papanekis is about projection. Again, I don't have a problem with that. Dean Letourneau was all about projection, and I think he's doing very well at Providence this year. He was a late first-round pick of Boston a couple of years ago, who felt like a big gamble because he was coming out of high school, and he's 6'7". He was a little bit clumsy, but now he's turning into a legit prospect. So I don't have a problem with drafting guys like Papanekis. What I have a problem with a guy like Papanekis is that he's very, very inconsistent in the sense that he can be a very frustrating player. That's what I call him, a frustrating player. You see a 6-foot guy who can skate, who has decent hands, can score goals, but there's such a lack of effort sometimes. And we all know the way the NHL game is played now. You're going to get killed if you don't work. You see, I don't want to make a comparison with the guy, but it's a guy we've talked about a lot, Brad Lambert. Brad Lambert, highly talented player, but the lack of effort is killing him. And that's why he's still in the American Hockey League. The Jets call him up. He can't make the cut. And I think Papanekis doesn't matter. Look, it's a 3rd-round pick. It's no big deal. They're just throwing darts. But I do think that there's a long way to go for Papanekis to make it. Yeah. Fortunately for him, he's going to be at the Memorial Cup this year because he's playing for Kelowna, and Kelowna is hosting. So he's going to play hockey till June, which is good. We'll see how he does. He has a 19-year-old season next year. If he doesn't dominate next year, when will he dominate? They're probably going to offer him a contract. He'll end up with the Rocket in 2027. Big long shot for me. Big long shot. So that's the update on Papanekis. But we'll see. 6'5". It's appealing. It's just I want to see him be more engaged on the
That's
ice.
it. Yeah, that's it. And in this season, it's 30 points in 43 games with Kelowna. So, bit underwhelming offensively speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess coming into the 3rd round, you're kind of looking for upside.
Yeah.
And, a player of that size and with the skill that he does have, the upside is very interesting. So then it's just about, getting the most out of him and trying to develop him as best as possible. So time will tell, but
but to me, he's in my head. He's linked to Cooper Simpson.
That's it.
Very often we do it because I was going through the draft and I'm like, wow, they pick Zarovsky. Oh wow, they get Pickford. And then I'm thinking, oh, Simpson, Papanekis. And then they got LG Mooney, Cournoyer. So overall, I think it'll be it's an interesting draft to follow. I don't know if all these guys are going to make it because most of them don't.
Yeah.
But like I said last year after the draft, I said, well, at least they make it interesting to follow. Because there are some drafts that some teams do, and you're looking at the list and you're like, oh, this is going to be so boring,
Yeah.
It's all future Ford liners. So at least with the Habs, there's upside in 2025 draft. So that's
fun to follow, and we will keep following them, the drafted prospects, the undrafted prospects. We're going to talk about the draft at some point because, boy, we're creeping up on March. How about So, folks, if you haven't subscribed yet, do yourself a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a new episode. Not taking any breaks, okay? We're going to keep grinding. Mondays and Thursdays, we're here. We're uploading a new show. Mondays, we usually talk Habs, the Habs sphere, whether it be the Rocket, drafted players, current roster, whatever that may be. This upcoming Monday, we're going to obviously review the Olympics because by then they'll be over. We're also going to talk about things to come, right? Everything about the Habs. And then on Thursday, we'll be back again, maybe talking about Snake's recommendation there about the rebuilds. That could be fun. 10 years back, what that look like? Hindsight is 2020, and we might just do that. And as always, send in your questions, send in your recommendations. We read the chat, we take in what you give us, we also learn a lot from you, okay? Our followers, our viewers are so knowledgeable, Snake. I mean, the comments are always insightful. I appreciate, I love reading the chat. So keep doing that. And if you want more of Snake, you know what to do. Go over to KO Sports, Mathias et le Serpent, and he's going to be making a special appearance on Le Sick podcast with Tony Marinaro, but not with Tony Marinaro, with Eric Oziel today. So by the time this show is released, you'll be able to go watch that previously. He'll be on around 11 a.m. So you'll be able to watch that. But Snake, did I miss anything? Anything else you want to talk about before you?
No, I think we're good to go. I think we're going to be here until July 2nd. Right, just to wrap up free agency, the draft, and everything. So lots of shows left before we go on vacation.
That's it. So you know what to do, people. Thank you to Juliana, Master Control, for Simon, the Snake Boisvert. I'm producer Shayne. This has been another edition of the SIG Podcast. Trust the process. We'll see you Monday.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the SIG Podcast, Trust the Process on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.